Hey there! Greetings everyone and welcome back to another episode of Plan B Success. It seems that every day there is a new article on the internet about how to avoid distractions, increase productivity, and achieve work-life balance. Inevitably, the focus of these articles is on reducing your exposure to certain activities or stimuli that may be causing you to lose track of time or procrastinate. I have spent quite a bit of time reading articles that fall into this category, only to come away wondering why I don't feel any more relaxed or less distracted. It wasn't until recently that I realized the problem with most productivity systems is they operate under the assumption that people have perfect control over their attention and impulses. In reality, we are constantly being bombarded by distractions, and it is impossible to eliminate them all. The assumption that we can simply take action in the face of distractions is flawed. What happens when you try to take action but are unable to make progress? You want something done but don't know how to achieve it. This is where the real problem lies. Not knowing which of your impulses and distractions to follow and which ones to ignore. To solve the problem of not knowing what actions to take, we must first understand why it's such a difficult decision. Our distractions are like walls that prevent us from walking through our desired door. The more open doors there are, the less likely it is you will be able to choose your path. The answer then is to limit the number of open doors as much as possible. This is why it's impossible to be productive all the time. There are too many paths available for us to follow, and we do not know which ones will lead us where we want to go. We can't just follow one path though. If we do that, the other paths will begin to diminish in size until they are all nearly invisible. The answer is to eliminate all but one of these paths by limiting your options. Decide which door you want to go through and determine how you can prevent yourself from having access to any other doors. If you're having trouble with this concept, imagine walking into a room filled with doors. The room is dark, but each door has an exit sign above it that provides just enough light for you to see the next door you want to walk through. If one of these doors doesn't work out, simply keep choosing another one at random, or one you prefer, until you find the right one. Without knowing which door leads to our desired destination, we will continue to feel uncertain and anxious because we don't know what comes next. However, once we have chosen a path and it fails us, we don't need to beat ourselves up for not choosing another option sooner. If we do this, the choices in front of us will stay limited. There is no perfect system out there for you to follow that promises it can make you more productive while simultaneously preventing all distractions. We are simply not built that way, and trying to fight our nature doesn't work. Productivity systems are created based on what people think they should be doing in their environment, not what would actually work best in their given situation. To figure out how to decrease your distractions and increase your productivity, you need to look at the root of why you're losing focus in the first place. Are you constantly distracted because there are too many things pulling at your attention? Do you have a hard time resisting the urge to check Facebook every 15 minutes? Or are you simply never satisfied with your work and find yourself distracted by the thought of how much more productive you could be if you're able to focus on one task for longer than 5 minutes? The only way to figure out what is holding us back is to honestly assess why we are losing focus in the first place, because it will be different for everyone. The only thing that never changes is that you should try your best not to stray from one thing and only one thing until it's completed. As long as you keep making decisions, you have a continuous flow of distractions coming in. This is why it's so difficult to keep your focus on one thing. Even if you're doing something simple like working on a spreadsheet or reading an article online, the solution isn't to simply try harder and do nothing else besides what you're supposed to be working on, because the distractions will catch up with you eventually. The solution is to find a way to eliminate these distractions so you can work with a clear mind. There is no perfect tip out there that will keep your attention perfectly focused on one thing, but there are small changes that will decrease the amount of focus you lose over time. I have listed 5 of the most effective tips here. Eliminate noise and visual stimulation. Turn off your phone, put away the TV remote, and get rid of any other electronic devices within arm's reach. If you need to be able to hear something for work purposes like a video or music file, wear headphones so there is still a barrier between you and the rest of the world. Even if you aren't easily distracted by visual stimulation, your brain still can't focus on 2 things at once. This means that every time you check your phone or look up from what you're doing, it takes a few seconds to get back into the right headspace for working or studying. Before checking your phone, ask yourself if you really need to. Chances are that it can wait until the next time you take a break or finish what you're working on. Work in 90-minute intervals. According to a study done by the University of London, working more than 50 minutes at a time decreases your productivity and motivation. This is because we work best in short spurts, taking regular breaks between sessions, so we can more effectively process what we learned and plan our next move. Set a timer for 90 minutes and do your best to accomplish as much as possible before the timer goes off. It doesn't matter what you do during this time frame, but the key is to work with urgency. Clear out distractions before you start working. Always clear your mind and distractions in front of you before you step into attention mode to get things done. The ritual is as important as the time you spend later on the work at hand. Keep your desk clean and organized. Even if it's just for 10 minutes before you start working, organizing your desk helps clear the clutter. This small change will help decrease distractions when you're trying to focus on something important. Do one thing at a time, and only that thing. This is the simplest but most important tip out of all 5. If you're constantly jumping from task to task because there are too many things pulling at your attention, find a way to focus on just one thing until it's completed. It doesn't have to be something work-related, but you should find other productive ways to spend your time. It's also important to keep the tasks limited to a small number of things. If there are too many balls in the air, it will be difficult for you to stay focused on anything because there's no end goal in sight. Tackling 5 things in a row will help you stay motivated and create a sense of accomplishment at the end of your session. These tips can be used for anything from school to work to simple household chores. The more you practice these habits in all areas of life, the easier they will become ingrained in your daily routine. It takes some effort to change your mindset and habits, but with a bit of practice, you can effectively eliminate distractions from your life. Hey, I hope you liked this episode. Go check out the others, and you'll find inspiring content there as well. And do share and subscribe and make sure you spread the word. Thank you.